A man with a red and gold bird sewn into the back of his coat confidently walks down the pockmarked streets, seemingly careless of the pools of light or darkness that connects them. A glint of steel can be seen flashing in the lights beneath his coat. He walks as though he knows how to use it. He seems to be searching for something, or someone. A woman steps out of the shadows into the underground street in front of the pirate captain.
Oh, fancy seeing you here, dear Mazrin. I'm sorry we didn't get to speak much on the trip back from the mist.
Another woman casually and quietly passes close behind the captain and then off down a side street with a grin on her face. Ophelia smirks and nods to the woman as she walks off. Mazrin stops dead after seeing Ophelia step out of fucking nowhere.
Ophelia? Jesus. Yes, funny finding a scoundrel in a shady place.
Winking.
Who is that?
Oh, I hope I didn't startle you too badly. Don't worry about them. If they want you to know, you will.
She steps next to Mazrin and continues to walk with him.
But what brings you here, my friend? I don't see any goods to fence with you.
Fair enough. Shadows and their secrets.
Reaching into his coat, he produces a pouch, heavy, and making a telltale jingle of coin.
Lumens, actually. Some laying hall paid me for some contract work, but hardly anyone would take them.
As they round a corner, a short blade flashes into his hand and just as quickly disappears.
I came prepared, but I came looking for help, actually.
Did I hear you say you need some help, Captain?
Celia glides over from a darkened doorway with her hand outstretched. Something gleams in it.
I believe you misplaced your flask again.
She winks conspiratorially at Ophelia. Mazrin looking questioningly at this new person.
Good evening. You seem familiar. Captain Mazrin Tor, at your service. Well, would you look at that? I seem to have lost that. Far from here.
Not too far. Just down the last corridor. You should be careful with your shiny things around here. Celia Blaise.
Small curtsy and a smile.
It's a pleasure to officially make your acquaintance. I know a bit about who you are. I try to make it my business to know those of importance in the port.
Quick hands.
Half under his breath.
Importance? I'm just a simple man of the sky, but very nice to meet you, Lady Blaise.
Celia, please. And don't underestimate yourself.
Celia glances a side eye off to the right behind Mazrin.
It was very nice meeting you. I have business to attend to, so I must be off. I leave you to Ophelia to help you with those lumens. Good evening.
She smiles and turns to leave, but then quickly turns back.
Oh, I almost forgot.
She reaches out, revealing that, once again, she has his flask and returns it.
Don't forget what I told you about watching out for your shinies.
With a delighted smile, she disappears into the darkness once more. Ophelia tries to hide her laughter as she waves to Celia.
Seems like luck isn't on your side tonight, Mazrin. You haven't even been drinking yet.
Mazrin trying to look sheepish.
Of course I haven't been drinking. Damn thing must have fallen out of my pocket.
Ophelia shakes her head and laughs.
Oh yes, right out of your pocket and into her hands. Well, we can fix that first part.
As they continue to walk, Ophelia sees a shop with dusty bottles in the window. She briefly enters and comes back out with a bottle of mead, takes a drink, and offers it to Mazrin.
To hopefully your improving luck.
Mazrin takes the bottle, eyebrows arching in suspicion, and takes a drink.
So how have you fared after the mist? And what brings you to Nathair? Seeing a distant relative this time? Or in search of another rare bauble?
Saying the last question with as much sarcasm as possible, but with a friendly smile. She smirks at his suspicion towards the drink.
I mean, we haven't had much time since our return, and mostly it's checking in on family and friends. You wouldn't believe the amount of people who think they've seen a ghost when they first notice me. It is a little hard to wrap my mind around. It was just 5 days for us, but the world just kept on going for 5 years. As for why I'm here, you're not wrong about seeing a relative. But Nathair is my home.
Ophelia makes a grand sweeping gesture to the dark underground street around, then takes a drink from the bottle.
And you? What shenanigans have you fallen into this time?
Has it really been 5 years? I probably should have known that. You lived here.
Looks up to the sky, far away in the cave-like alleys of the dark streets.
Surprisingly, no shenanigans at the time. After the mist, a great number of my crew went home. They all lost the call of the sky.
Shakes his head sadly.
Damn shame. So now I hunt for able bodies.
The mischievous grin returns.
Say, what about you? And perhaps that flask snatcher. I've seen your blade flash and watched you work, and she certainly has skills. Feel the call of the sky?
I won't hold it against you. I probably mentioned it once and you thought it was another clever story.
She gives him a surprised but amused look.
What? There's no trouble that you've got yourself into? No guards to pay off or jail to spring you from? I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
She pats him on the shoulder.
I am sorry about your crew, but what an interesting proposition.
She takes another drink while thinking it over.
For dear Celia the Flask Snatcher, you would have to ask her yourself. Just neglect your flask again and I'm sure she'll come around. As for me, I would be delighted. I might have to disappear from time to time, but don't worry yourself on that.
They walk into a courtyard-like area with many stalls and booths. The merchants and customers all speak in hushed whispers and glance their way as they enter. Ophelia's voice drops slightly.
And after you assemble your new crew, what is next for the Hawk?
Gleefully smiling at her interest and at somber attitude of the secret world he has now found himself.
After I have sufficient crew, I plan to sail north. I've heard whispers of an island, unclaimed but disputed. The Order.
Under his breath.
Fucking zealots.
At normal tone.
Seem to have laid claim, so set up a base. I wish to observe this event. Information travels slowly by sea.
Saying with a wink.
Well, what are the odds? I too am heading for a mysterious island north of here, but to assist Volantin, of Vannerson, and their merry band of Valravens in reclaiming their ancestral home.
She chuckles at his comment about the Order.
Oh, don't tell me you're still cross about your brawl with Sir Caxton. Surely your shoulder is all healed up now.
She winks at him and then stops to sit on what looks like an old fountain, long empty of water. Ophelia offers Mazrin the meat again.
That it does, which is why traveling by air is so convenient when information is its own currency.
Ah, how is that fool?
Smiling at the mention of his friend.
Valraven lays claim as well. I smell a fight.
Taking the bottle and taking a generous swig.
My shoulder is fine. My pride a little less.
Slightly wincing as he rolls his shoulder.
Sounds like you need transportation. I know a man.
Winking back mischievously.
What do you say? Come join me on the crew of the Crimson Hawk?
She looks down sadly with a bit of anger.
Oh, fool is right. I don't even know. I left the mists on the Hawk and I assumed he left with his radiant riffraff.
Waves hand dismissively.
But only a fool offers himself to the wild hunt with no idea of what's in store. He hasn't been the same, you know, much colder. I hope that by assisting Valraven with this, they will help him in return.
Takes the bottle back and drinks deeply.
Oh, there's always going to be a fight, but I'm excited for it. Well, I do prefer the air to sea, so of course I'll join you on the Hawk.
Stands and stretches.
How soon are we leaving, Captain?
Good, good.
Patting her shoulder.
Maybe we can try to help him. And perhaps one of our healers can take a look at him.
Standing and stretching.
We'll be headed out soon. You remember where her berth is? I plan to have a good view of the battles, though I will probably stay aboard for this one. Dark whispers come from that island. Any chance you might know where to find paralysis poison? Like a shitload of it.
I don't think having the healer's check would hurt, but with the limited use of magic, I'm not sure what can be done for a hollowed.
Smiles at the change of subject and welcome distraction.
Well, of course I remember where the magnificent Crimson Hawk is. Well, let's hope you get close enough to drop me off and pick me up. I don't want to be stranded out there, that's for sure.
Gets visibly excited at the mention of poison, grabs him by the arm and starts dragging him down the street.
And I can absolutely get you what you need. Important question, though. Lethal or non-lethal? That's a very important piece of information. But either way, I should have plenty in my stores. How many vials do you need?
Smiling at her excitement and sudden vigor.
Easy, easy. The leg. Non-lethal and about as much as you can spare.
A mischievous and almost maniacal look comes across his face.
I've got an awful idea that's probably going to get us all killed. Or really fucking rich.
Stops and looks at him.
Leg? What's wrong with your leg? And are you sure it's not you who should see some healers?
Scoffs at non-lethal.
Ugh, that's not nearly as fun, but I have just the poison for it. Should have at least a dozen vials, but I'll double check.
Laughs at the final comment.
Now that sounds like a good time. Shall I meet you back on the Hawk with your supplies?
No amount of magic can fix that.
Chuckling.
Oh, I know it's not any fun, but I have a very specific use for it. Yes, bring it to the Hawk.
Placing the heavy purse of lumens into her hand.
For payment. Sky knows you'll be able to flip that.
With that, he spins and walks back towards the port, quietly whistling to himself an odd tune. whistles.
Where the hell did you get those, my dear friend? Oh, I know plenty of uses for these.
She smirks as she ducks under an archway with stone snakes carved into it.